I was talking to Pete Rock this morning,
Okay.
and he thinks that Iggy Azalea is going to sweep the Grammys.
I, you know what? If she does, God bless. You know what I'm saying? Like the Grammys, it's about how the Grammys work though too. You know what I'm saying? Like if everybody that's voting, she's voted for among her peers, and if her peers are Iggy Azalea fans, then yeah, she is gonna sweep the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we complain about stuff and don't do our research on why it is the way it is though, right? So it's no different. It's no different than President Barack Obama winning the election and the wave and the campaign of what we created. It's no difference than when you see the America turn up their girl power when Hillary Clinton becomes our first female president. It's gonna be no different. This same thing. You know what I mean? So the only way that you spark change is or things that you don't agree with is like arm yourself with the proper information, and the people that need to be on that need to be on the voting ballot or need to be having the ballots. I mean, I've sat on the committee. I was on the board. I held a pretty high ranking in DC. You know what I mean? I actually stepped down because I wasn't able to give it the attention and I feel like it needed, and I felt like I was in the way.
Anyone that's on the Grammy committee, regardless of the music that they primarily work on or are familiar with, can vote in any other category. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So someone who simply, only does country music, doesn't listen to anything else, could go into the hip hop category and say, I'm familiar with this person, boom.
You're either gonna, if you're a music lover and you had the opportunity to vote, you're either gonna do one or two things as a voter, right? Because I voted before, right? It is you're either gonna immediately just go with the name right? Who you may be a fan of, or you're gonna skim through. Oh, let me see who's on here. Oh, that's the homie. Or I'm a fan of them. Or I actually did some work with them. I fucking hate this artist. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't show up for the session or whatever. And then you're gonna vote for who you want to vote for. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're a music lover, guess what? You might take the time to actually go and listen to all these artists' music and decipher who you feel like really deserves to win.
There is somewhat of an inherent problem in this because there are cultural implications of the music outside of just how it sounds.
Okay.
And someone, what I'm saying, like for example, Schoolboy Q, a lot of it has to do with, the West Coast being where it's at right now with TDE, with Kendrick Lamar and so forth. And unless you're really, really into hip hop, you don't really understand a Schoolboy Q album as someone who is just going to sit down with it for the first time, not have any sort of background information, and listen to it. So do you think that there's somewhat of a problem in allowing people who just are not familiar with something to vote on it as important as the Grammys?
Now, I totally agree with that. I like that. That's a great argument. I think that maybe it needs to be structured. You vote on what you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, according to your lane or what have you. You know what I mean? But, that gets tricky too, man. It's a tough thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel about Iggy the same way I feel about a Justin, or the same way I feel about Schoolboy Q. Like, I can appreciate all three of those different artists' music for three totally different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And you put that work in, man. If you put that work in, you're deserving of that accolade, man. Regardless of who you are, what your skin color is, whatever, man. Like, you deserve, Now if we're talking about like the Academy Award for films, that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I mean? But like, everybody has their time, man, and they can't be mad at that girl because she's shining right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it at the end of the day. I mean, too much talking, you start to look like the hater. You know what I'm saying?
the Grammys does have somewhat of a spotted past when it comes to hip hop. I mean, you can't deny that part.
Oh, clearly, when you talk about far back as my guys, you know, Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith, you know what I'm saying, and that whole movement and that era and how they had to put their foot down back in the day, you know.